Hey guys, it's me Carter, and welcome to the Build Your Kids Library, where we read books which will be a great addition to a kid's home library. If you want to build a kid's home library, then go to my website, www.buildakidslibrary.org. Today I will be reading Astra the Lonely Airplane by Julie Whitney. Now let's get started. Astra was a lovely airplane, big, shiny, and white, with black and red stripes down her left and her right. At 55 feet long and standing 22 feet tall, Astra could best described as anything but small. She had two big powerful engines and 55-foot wings, and flying super fast was her very favorite thing. At 600 miles per hour, she could climb to 45,000 feet. Yes, Astra was indeed one of the finest in the fleet. Inside, she had a big, soft couch and comfy leather seats, and a galley filled with soft drinks and yummy, tasty treats. She had a giant TV screen and a refrigerator, too. In fact, you could say she was in a mini house that flew. She had a playful sense of humor and a smile for all she meant. Everything you could ask for in a big luxury jet. The kind man who flew Astra was known as Captain Dan, one of the finest pilots in or over all the land. He washed and waxed Astra, filled her tires with air, fueled her tank up weekly, and gave her lots of care. Yes, Captain Dan and Astra made for a perfect team. Their life was very magical, or so that is, it seemed, until one day Captain Dan came in without his usual smile. Astra, I'm afraid you'll be sitting in your hangar for a while. He told his good friend Astra that she was being sold, and any plans for flying would now be put on hold. He said, keep your nose up, Astra, and try not to frown. But Astra couldn't help but feel a little glum and down. He promised to check in on her each and every week, and with that, a big tear dropped down Astra's shiny cheek. When Captain Dan left Astra, she felt very much alone, and Astra wondered whether she would ever be flown again. The days were long, and the nights were cold. The snacks in her galley began to grow mold. Astra needed to fly and get a bit of fresh air, but being stuck inside her hangar was more than she could bear. As the weeks turned into months, Astra couldn't help but cry, wondering when the time came she would remember how to fly. Her tires were flat and her battery was low. She sighed. It doesn't matter. I have no place to go. Until one day, a man arrived, hoping to buy her. He looked Astra over and kicked at her flat tires. He scowled and said, this plane is too old, and what is that strange smell? Can it be the mold? But let's take her up and see what the old gal can do. And so, higher and higher, clever Astra flew. She chuckled as she flew him through a giant storm cloud. This will teach him for being so rude and loud. As Astra tossed and turned, the man started to feel ill. He shouted, is there any way to make this plane hold still? He turned quite green as Astra made a very steep descent. She could hardly wait to rid herself of this ill-mannered gent. After Astra landed, the man crawled out on all fours, and Captain Dan escorted him out the hangar doors. Next, a man came by who was quite large and tall, and complained, this plane may be a little too small. He climbed aboard Astra, which was no easy feat. His legs were so long he had to squeeze into his seat. He struggled with his seat belt, which was far too short, as Astra took off with a chuckle and a snort. The man's head hit the ceiling and his arms hit the floor, and he shouted, I don't think I can take this anymore. So Astra took a nosedive and as she started to fall, she laughed. "This will teach him, once and for all. I certainly won't be buying this plane," said the man, and Astra grinned at Captain Dan. Next, in waltzed a well-dressed lady, perhaps a frequent flyer. Astra hoped and prayed that maybe this would be her buyer, but as they flew, the lady said, "This plane is much too hot. I think I would be happier just sailing on my yacht." So Astra cranked her air conditioning as high as it would go. Then the lady put on her coat and gloves as the air began to blow. "This plane is too cold," the lady said. So Astra cranked her heat, and by the time they landed, the lady was red as a beet. As the lady strutted off, complaining she was hot, Astra began to worry that she would never be bought. There had to be someone out there who would want to buy her, who wouldn't just laugh as they kicked her tires or complain that she was too old or too small or too cold or too hot or anything at all. Then Captain Dan said, "Here, let me fill up your tires. You just need to be patient. We will find the right buyer. I will wash and wax you till you're shining like new, and restock your galley with fresh yummy treats too." And as Captain Dan finished cleaning Astra up, there finally came a great change in their luck. For in strolled a man with a big pleasant smile. He looked Astra over, humming all the while. "She's a beauty," he said, "so shiny and clean." He looked inside at her big comfy seats and checked out the galley with her fresh tasty treats. And then he proclaimed, "I think this plane is just right. Can she make it all the way to California tonight?" "Sure thing. I'll fill up her tank," said Captain Dan, and he ran off to file a cross-country flight plan. But first, he said to Astra, "We'll soon have a new home. No more nights spent in your hangar alone." Astra was excited, but she was a little bit scared. She had never seen California. Would she like it there? But Captain Dan assured her, "We have nothing to fear. It's beautiful, with rain just a few times a year." So Astra took off and climbed higher and higher. This is such a smooth ride," marveled Astra's new buyer. Once Astra reached a height of 45,000 feet, the nice man relaxed and kicked up his feet. "What a magnificent view. I really love this plane," he said as he looked down at the colorful terrain. Across the Ohio and Mississippi rivers they flew. Then over the Rocky Mountains. What a spectacular view. The Arizona desert was a beautiful sight, while below them the daytime faded into night. They passed through a rainbow as Astra began her descent. "What a very lucky sign," exclaimed the nice gent. As she landed smoothly in the Golden State, Astra felt happy about her new fate. And although she was excited for what adventures lay ahead, she was also quite jet-lagged. It was almost time for bed, so Captain Dan pulled her aside with a tug, then put his hands on her nose and gave her a hug. As he covered her up and whispered, "Good night," sweet Astra knew everything would be all right.